Shadows of Intramuros. Manila's Intramuros had always been a place of stories, ancient walls that had witnessed centuries of triumph and tragedy, whispered secrets hidden beneath cobblestones. By day, the historic district bustled with tourists and locals, but by night, it transformed into something else entirely, a labyrinth of shadows and echoes. Ana, a university student studying history, was drawn to Intramuros not just for its beauty, but for its mysteries. She often spent her afternoons wandering its streets, imagining the lives of those who once called it home. Her friends warned her to be careful, especially at night, but Ana's curiosity was stronger than her fear. One evening, just as the sun dipped below the Manila skyline, Ana slipped past the closing gates to explore the old city in the fading light. The streets were silent except for the occasional distant bark of a stray dog and the soft rustle of bamboo leaves swaying in the breeze. Lanterns flickered, casting long shadows that stretched across the walls, twisting like fingers reaching out from the darkness. As Ana walked deeper into the heart of Intramuros, she felt the air grow colder. The warm buzz of the city faded away, replaced by a heavy stillness. She paused near the ruins of Fort Santiago, where centuries ago, prisoners awaited their fate. It was said that some never left. Suddenly, a whisper brushed past her ear, so soft she thought she imagined it. "Help me." She spun around, heart pounding, but the alley was empty. The cobblestones gleamed faintly under the moonlight, and the bamboo rustled with no one in sight. "Who's there?" Ana called, voice trembling. Only silence answered. Summoning her courage, Ana moved forward, following the faint sound that seemed to come from deeper within the fortress. The whisper grew into a faint chorus of voices, pleas, cries, and half-remembered names. The shadows stretched and danced as if alive. At the end of a narrow corridor, Ana saw a figure, a woman dressed in white, her eyes hollow, her face pale as moonlight. The apparition opened her mouth to speak but no sound came. Instead, the air thickened with a cold that seeped into Ana's bones. The ghostly woman pointed toward a broken wall, revealing a hidden chamber behind the rubble. Ana hesitated but stepped inside. Inside, the room was filled with old papers and dusty relics, letters, journals, and faded photographs. Ana picked up a letter, the ink blurred but legible. It told a tragic story of a prisoner betrayed, who hid secrets of forbidden love and revenge beneath the fortress. The voice returned, stronger now. "Find the truth, free us." Ana knew this was more than a ghost story. It was a plea from the past, a call for justice. Over the next days, Ana pieced together the fragments, discovering clues in libraries and talking to elders who remembered whispered tales from their grandparents. One night, guided by the letters, she returned to the chamber. There, beneath a loose stone, she found a hidden trapdoor. Heart racing, she descended into darkness. The underground passage was damp and narrow, the air thick with the scent of earth and decay. At its end was a small burial chamber, walls etched with names and dates, a forgotten shrine to those who had suffered and died in silence. As Ana stepped inside, the shadows around her shifted, and a voice whispered, "Thank you." A cold breeze swept through the chamber, and the oppressive weight lifted. Ana emerged into the night air, forever changed. The shadows of Intramuros had revealed their secrets, and for a moment, the voices were finally at peace. But the story did not end there. In the following weeks, Ana noticed subtle changes. The bamboo leaves outside her window rustled even when the air was still. The old letters she had found began to fade, as if the ink itself was alive and reluctant to be remembered. One evening, as she studied the letters, a chill crept through the room. The whisper returned, this time clearer, urgent. "Not all are free." Ana's eyes darted toward the window where the bamboo swayed violently, casting strange shadows on the walls. Determined to uncover more, Ana returned to Intramuros, searching for the truth buried deeper beneath the ancient walls. She learned of a secret society that had once used the fortress to imprison not just enemies of the state, but those who threatened their own dark ambitions. With every step deeper into history, the voices grew louder, pleading, warning, demanding. Anna realized that to truly free the restless souls, she had to confront the darkness that still lingered beneath the city, the last broadcast from a past unwilling to fade away.
The Loop. Marcus had been working as a night security guard for almost a year at the sprawling yet eerily quiet office complex on the edge of town. It wasn't a bad gig, just him, a thermos of lukewarm coffee, and the soft hum of monitors displaying feeds from the building's many CCTV cameras. One Tuesday night, around 2:33 a.m., he noticed something strange on camera 12, which overlooked a rarely used hallway in the old wing. A man in a gray hoodie was walking slowly toward the camera. Odd, but not alarming. Homeless people occasionally slipped in through an unlocked maintenance door. Marcus reached for the intercom to tell the intruder to leave, but as his finger hovered over the button, the man on screen stopped. Not just stopped, froze completely mid-step, as if someone had paused the footage. Except the feed wasn't paused. The timestamp kept ticking. And then the man looked up, straight into the camera. Marcus jumped back. The man's face was wrong. Not blurred, not obscured, just wrong. His features didn't quite match, his eyes too far apart, his smile a little too wide, like a bad AI-generated face trying to pass as human. Then the screen glitched. A flicker. When it stabilized, the man was gone. Marcus scanned every feed. Nothing. All empty. But when he rewound the footage, there was no sign of the man ever being there. No footage, no flicker, no glitch. Just an empty hallway at 2:33 a.m. Shaken, Marcus reported the anomaly. His boss shrugged it off. Old cameras glitch all the time. The next night, Marcus returned for his shift, trying to convince himself it had been a hallucination. But just as the clock hit 2:33 a.m., the feed from camera 12 flickered again. He leaned forward. The man was back. Same hoodie. Same slow walk. Same sudden freeze. And again, he looked directly into the lens. This time, Marcus didn't hesitate, he ran down to the hallway. But when he arrived, it was empty. Cold. Silent. Yet when he returned to the control room, his blood froze. He was still sitting in the chair, staring at the screen. No, something that looked like him was. It turned to the camera, smiled that too wide smile, and waved. The feed glitched again. Gone. In a panic, Marcus quit the job the next morning. He told his replacement everything, who laughed and called it the security ghost. A week later, the new guard disappeared during his shift. All the tapes from that night? Corrupted. Except one. Camera 12. 2:33 a.m. A man in a gray hoodie. Walking slowly toward the lens. And then stopping. And smiling. And watching. Forever. Title, Ash and Salt. They came at midnight, cloaked in silence and smoke. 5 of them, robed, hooded, barefoot, entered the old chapel that stood crooked atop Grief Hill. The building had been abandoned since the fire, its stone walls scorched black, its altar broken. But beneath the floorboards, something still pulsed. Something hungry. Clara stood in the center, her hands bound with red cord, eyes wide with fear. The townsfolk called her a witch. They weren't wrong, but they weren't right, either. She had touched something she shouldn't have. Spoken a name in the dark when no one was listening. Except something had. Now, they were here to finish what she started. Begin the casting, the eldest said. His voice was like dry leaves. One acolyte drew a circle of salt. Another scattered ash. The third lit black candles, whispering names not meant for daylight. The fourth placed the book, a thing of skin and ink colder than the chapel itself, on the altar. The fifth removed Clara's blindfold. She didn't scream. Not yet. You opened the veil, the eldest said. You brought it here. Now you will be its vessel. I didn't mean to, Clara whispered. I just wanted to speak to her. To my sister. The old man's face twisted. You don't speak to the dead, girl. You invite them. They began to chant. The air thickened. The flame of each candle bent sideways, like gravity itself had shifted. The shadows in the chapel grew long and moved independently of their owners. Somewhere below, The earth groaned. Clara's eyes rolled back. She saw flashes, fields of bone, rivers of blood flowing uphill, a face made of grouse. The veil tore. A sound like metal screaming filled the chapel. The salt ring ignited. From within it, something emerged, not flesh, not shadow, but a form that flickered between the two. It had no mouth, yet it laughed. It had no eyes, yet it saw. The acolytes dropped to their knees, trembling. One burst into flame. Another began clawing at his own throat. The entity turned to Clara. "You called me. Now you must pay the price." She tried to move, but her feet were rooted. Her thoughts bled into the entity like smoke into fog. "Take me," she said. "Just leave them." The entity paused. Then smiled. "No." With a roar of wind and fire, the chapel collapsed. The screams echoed across Grief Hill for hours. At dawn, only Clara stood among the ashes. Her eyes were coal black. Her mouth moved without sound. And where her shadow should have been, there were wings. She walked down the hill toward the village. The first bell rang as she entered. By the second, they were already kneeling.